So today's session, just to tell you a little bit about what's going on here, we got 2 pocket operators, as you can see. And yeah, really I wanted to show this workflow that I have when I use 2 of these things, because when you're only using one PO-33, you basically can't have more than 4 samples playing at once. So when you try to sequence a bunch of different sounds, sometimes they start to cut each other off or mute each other, which is called voice stealing. And everyone knows it's not nice to steal. If you're using one pocket operator, you can get around this by using like sliced drum breaks. You can have like kick, snare, hi-hat, all in one package. But if you like using one shots, you're kind of, out of luck basically. It's kind of difficult to do that. Basically what we're going to do here is we've got 2 pocket operators, and I'm going to use one to do the rhythm section. So I just have the drums on one, and then I'll do just the melody on the other. And that way we don't have to worry too much about the competing voices and losing polyphony or whatever. Let's go over how to get the 2 POs synced up. I need to set one pocket operator as the host that will send a sync signal to the second PO. And it doesn't matter too much which one is the host. The first thing to do is plug a stereo cable from the output of the host to the input of the other device. And then you can cycle through the sync modes by holding the record button and pressing the BPM button. So the host needs to be set to sync mode SY1, and the device that receives the sync signal needs to be set to SY4. And then of course I need to plug in the output. Now let's test it to make sure it works. So I'll start by pressing play on the device receiving the sync signal. So now it's waiting for the signal from the host. And when I press play on the host, they'll play in sync. And that's kind of how I have this beat set up right now. So right now the drums are on this one and the melody's on this one. So I'll show you. And then, yeah, this one has the melody. This has like this rhodes sample, like the bass. There's a string sample, and there's also a horn as well. So we have 4 sounds per pocket operator, basically. So yeah, that's kind of an example of the rhythm and then the melody. So yeah, let's go ahead and get some samples recorded in. I don't have the Dirty Wave M8 on screen right now, but that's definitely where we're getting our sounds from. And we'll start with snare drum. There's a special technique that I use when I record the samples in. I record the sample twice, and the reason why you want to do it twice is because you can basically use the slice pad to kind of offset the timing of the sample. So it kind of starts around 5:30 there. That's when some people get off work. Now, we've got this sample here, but then I'm going to do another one. So I said it starts at 5:30, so I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do it at like 5:20. So I'm going to start it a little earlier. Maybe I'll do the next one 5:10. Why not? So I've got 5:30, this is basically the main one. This one starts at 5:20, this one starts at 5:10, this one's 500, and then this one's 490. So each of them has a different amount of like space at the beginning of it, which allows me to offset it in the sequence. All right, so it's a little bit different sample now. I'll try a kick drum. So yeah, the one that's on the one pad, this one is always just going to start at the beginning, like when the recording started, but then the ones after it is where I can start doing that offset stuff. So let's try that. So 494 is where this one is, so let's just keep going back 10 just to make it easy. So let's do 484. All right, so we got 504, I think, 494, 484, 474, 464, 454. I think that's probably enough, like kind of different variations of the space. And again, those will be helpful when it comes to the sequence. All right, so yeah, I added one of those offset notes to the last note in the sequence here, and I'll give you an example of like how it sounds different. So listen to the last kick at the end of each bar and how it sounds different. And you want that more snappy, like ba-boom, as opposed to the doom doom. Alright, so we've got kick and snare sounding pretty snazzy. Let's see what we got with regards to the hi-hat. And then we recorded in twice so we can get that space at the beginning. Alright, it seems like 500 is where it starts, so let's start pulling it back. 490, 480, etc. Alright, so we've got the hat on the 1 here, right when the recording starts. And then here it starts at 500. This is like the second trigger. Here, this is 490, 480, 470, 460, 450, 440. So it all kind of sounds the same when I'm pressing it, but when you sequence it, it kind of like offsets the notes a little bit. So I was thinking maybe open hat would be good too. Alright, so we got the open hat here. Might be able to do some other percussion stuff, but maybe we should move on to melody. And we have some special samples today. I'm going to use the samples that I recorded from that listening session, the crate dig session. I'm going to see if I can make some stuff with those, which you can download on the Patreon for free if you like. So let's check it out. So here's the plan. So I'm going to play the loop, and then I'm kind of going to be like tapping these and sort of adjusting the start point in real time to kind of have them connect in an interesting way. So let's see if this actually works. Okay, so I got those chops dialed in. Yeah, definitely kind of an interesting technique there. So yeah, basically you open up the start and end point of every single slice, and then you're kind of just like playing stuff in, but it's cool because you can sort of hear the slices in relation to one another. And then the last one's just a mute out. So basically this is just starting all the way at the end, and I can use this to kind of like shut down the sound if I want the sample chops to stop playing. Let's see if we can get a nice jam going here. Let's record a horn next. Next up, we got this goofy spoken word intro from one of the records I was listening to.
Where you wanna go to? Where you wanna go to? Where you wanna go to? Go down the subway. Who's working? Go down the subway. Go down the subway. Who's working down there? I'm working down there. Where you wanna working? Man, working down there, man. You know, ours be working. I ain't even tired. Go out some place to swing. Where you wanna go to? 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 Working down. Working down. Where you wanna go to? Working down. Working down.
Alright, we definitely need some bass, so let me record in some bass. And then yeah, this is the magic of the filter on the pocket operator. So you hear the buzzing, like it's a 8-bit sampler, so like when you do things that are like really in the low end or really in the high end, sometimes it like really crunches it up. But you can use the filter to really smooth it out. Get that nice sub bass. You can also adjust the resonance. So you have a lot of control over the sound.
Where you wanna go to? Working down. Working down. Where you wanna go to? Working down. Working down. Where you wanna go to? Working down. Working down. Where you wanna go to? Working down. Working down. Where you wanna go to? Working down.
Alright, I think we got room for more melodics though. Be nice to get some like rhodes in there. Try doing another thing here where I take the guitar out, or here I think I'm going to try and like record some automation of the filter on the guitar sample. So that's kind of tight. The guitar kind of takes the back seat a little bit. You can still hear it, but it sort of lets like the Rhodes breathe a little bit.